you are talking about past life and old soul. I know you are very, very old soul. Yeah, but you said the last time the woman just new soul. So what is it before born as a human? It was an angel or what is that? Just curious. I mean, so mystery, so mystery,
Mystery.
so
You know,
mystery.
look, um, when I did healing sessions with this young woman who had cerebral palsy, and she had such a depth of purity in herself
Mm.
that, I would initially, for the first couple of weeks, I kept trying to find in her past lives what created that problem today. She was born that way. And I couldn't see anything but this depth of purity inside her. And I finally realized after doing this work for maybe 2, 3 weeks, that it was her first incarnation. I began to see like Darwinian images of, fishes being transformed into this, into, it was really extraordinary. But I couldn't find any human incarnation. I couldn't find anything where her soul was on the earth before and did something that, that made her be born the way she was born. What took place before, I don't have an answer for, to be honest with you, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know, what I did see was this depth of innocence, this person who had no karma in a past life, and that's why I came to that realization. I never pursued it and cared what she was before, because basically, what are we before? We're nothing, we're soul evolving in the universe, and we're nothing. And we have to be born here in order to what we need to learn living on the earth. Mostly how to transform unhappiness, suffering, pain, which is so prevalent here, into a spiritual life. This is just another dimension that the soul goes through. Once you learn how to do all these things, then you're free to go on to the next dimension. What the next dimension is, I don't really know, except I am just opening to it with open arms. I am ready to go and see whatever it has to teach me. The unknown, you understand? The energy of spirit, God, it's all evolves in the unknown. And once we try to conceptualize it, once we try to make it into some kind of idea, thought, material thing, we limit whatever it is. It becomes something of our own creation. And it's not really allowing the universe to teach us. So I don't know. I mean, I've always, even before I met Rudy, I always embraced the unknown. I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. I wanted to be an actor, this, I had all kinds of, I studied art. I used to go to the Metropolitan Museum, 3-4 times a week and look at these master paintings. And I was just blown away. And it always came back to a simple reality to me. It all emanates from the unknown. It becomes a work of art. It becomes one's life manifesting in front of us, the unknown. And if we begin to conceptualize it, it turns it into an intellectual nightmare instead of some joyous revelation. And like I spoke before the class, the realization that time, energy, everything is precious, everything is sacred. It's not sacred because we conceptualize it, it's sacred because of what it is.
True, so true.
So what that young lady was before And I didn't pursue it. I was so blown away by having come to the realization. And it's a realization that a lot of people who have illness, especially people born with, conditions like cerebral palsy, et cetera. I mean, it could be their first incarnation. The shock of coming into the world could be so traumatic that it could create that kind of condition. Into this world of polarity and opposites and, so much tension and, that goes on here. It could create that kind of condition in a person. Am I 100% correct? I don't know. All I know is that I came away from that experience with this amazing realization about something that manifests in life. And I remember going to her mother, who was this really guilty person. She always blamed herself. And I said, no, don't blame yourself. This is your daughter's first incarnation. This is how she came into the world, and the shock of being born created this condition. It's not your fault. Mother hugged me and thanked me, and she couldn't believe anyone could tell her that.
Yeah, good thing to become old, because I can appreciate more about life. How precious life is about.
That is what I'm trying to get to in almost every meditation. Never take it for granted. It is very precious. It's sacred. It's our teacher. It's there to guide us to enlightenment. Our job is to just build a system inside that is strong enough to have that kind of consciousness. And then we let go and life guides us. It's an amazing guru, it's a much better guru than me. And frankly, I don't even compare to what life, in terms of guiding people, what life can do. But we have to stop fighting with it. We have to stop complaining about it. We have to stop feeling like victims and guilty and all of this nonsense that runs around inside people that keeps them from ever recognizing the sacred nature of life. They're always at war with life. And that's what creates all the insanity that goes on here,
I can sense a lot of old soul people are gathering in your session. I see a lot of deep people there. So I sense that, that's very amazing.
If you want to see very young souls on the earth, just look at politicians. They're very young souls, these people. I mean, their only consciousness is material things, power, things of such a basic and almost stupid level is all that controls them. These are very young souls. You want to see old souls? Rudy, Nityananda. I mean, no, it's souls that go back thousands of years that have really consumed everything that life has to teach, and they're ready to leave. They can move on.
I wonder where the Rudy is about. Where is he now? I'm very curious.
Well, let's hope he's not here. Look, honestly, this is not only it's for all of you. Rudy told me, he said, Stuart, and I've said this many times, don't love me. He said, love God. Learn what I have to teach. If you master and learn what I have to teach, I will have done my job on the earth and I won't have to come back here anymore. He told me this. I can't tell you how many times I was told this by Rudy. Learn what I have to teach, master it, and, if you do that, you will free me. I won't have to come back here and fix all the messes that people make in my name, And I'm asking the same thing because look, I'm not getting any younger. Rudy told me he was going to live to 84. He was 45 when we were in that airplane and hit a mountain, you know? And Rudy took his samadhi.
Amazing.
So what I'm asking people, and profoundly with tremendous humility, to learn what is being taught, grow in it, become teachers of it if that's your karma. And don't dilute it with nonsense and other stuff that people dilute it with. And just learn what is being taught. Because this has to be passed on to another generation. It's a big concern of Rudy's. He made teachers with that hope of passing on this amazing thing that he developed to a new generation of people.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Don't, waste time. I mean, procrastination is really the 8th deadly sin. It really is. Do your inner work, grow, take care of your responsibilities. Yes. You have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to just elaborate a bit, give examples or talk about what does using time well look like?
Well, let's start, let's start with these classes that I teach. I mean it, I teach here 4 classes a week. It probably consumes about 5 hours a week of anyone's time. There's 165 hours in a week. Now, if you really come open to learn in these classes, you're going to be using your time well. Then there's time with your family. There's time with your friends. There's time at your job. Each of these elements requires a different kind of consciousness. And in order to succeed in these elements, we have to have a system inside which is open enough to do them with compassion, with love, with understanding, with patience, because people are going to screw up around us all the time. But forgiveness is a big one. Because if you don't learn forgiveness, forget about it. You're going to bitch and complain to yourself about other people for the rest of your life. And there's always somebody that's going to come along that's going to do some kind of crap that needs to be forgiven. I mean, starting there. And then it's not just in the class, it's building a system that enables you to deal with your family with love and compassion, to deal with your friends the same way, to go to your job and not be intimidated, not feel, like you're a victim, you're this, but to have the strength inside to so focus on the moment that you do an incredible job with love, with understanding, with compassion, forgiveness, with all of these terms that we're taught from the time we're 2 years old and we rarely ever use. So it's every area of life. And frankly, it begins with this kind of training. And so many people, well, I'll go to class, I won't go to class, I'll go next week. People disappear for months, and then I take their name off my list and why did you take my name? You weren't here. What am I going to do? I mean, if you invite people to a party, all the time and they never show up, you stop inviting them. So this is basically what I'm talking about, taking advantage of the gifts of life that God has given us. With the meditation classes, with family, with jobs, with all the things that are required of us in life. And everything is a precious moment. Every one of these things is sacred. And every one of these things is teaching us about ourselves and is teaching us how to get closer to God by working out our karma here. You know, this is what it's all about, because it's not only the meditation classes that are sacred, it's the food that you eat that's sacred. It's the time you spend with your family that's sacred. It's the time that you spend at work that's sacred. It's the time that you're, taking a vacation that's sacred. Everything in life is sacred, but we don't have systems inside that are strong enough to be able to embrace life that way. I know, look, I was raised in a Jewish religion, which, I kind of got away from when I was very young, but they have prayers for everything, everything. For the breath you take, the food you eat, the wine you drink, it's incredible, everything there's a prayer for. And what are they saying? Really, it's just a metaphor. Everything is sacred. And I'm sure, look, I'm not that aware of, Christian and Islamic faith and all that, but I'm sure it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I mean, I had friends in India that were Muslims 5 times a day. They would be, roll out the little rug and they would be down praying. It used to blow me away. I'd be in the middle of business deals. Wait, I got to go pray. And they would roll out their little carpet and they would spend, 10 minutes, Allah, 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 Allah Akbar, Allah. It was extraordinary. So when I talk about, I'm not saying, look, if you happen to be a Muslim and that's your faith, fine, then do it. And I respect it. And I think it's wonderful that people can remember God at least 5 times a day. That to me is exceptional. Most people, they forget, all day that the life they're living is sacred. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just to finally, just remember, look, we do 4 of these classes a week. These are really powerful sessions. Every one of them, I'm telling you, and they're getting more powerful, deeper every time I sit here and do this. And don't take it for granted. Learn what is being taught. It's like Rudy said, don't build shrines to me. Don't worship me. Learn what I have to teach. Learn it. And then you will free me and you will really build your own connection with God. And it certainly is going to be different. He used to say to me, than my connection. He said, you can be a 3rd-rate Rudy and a 1st-rate Stuart. Told me this all the time. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay. God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be class tomorrow evening. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, and bless you. And, when you have a cup of tea, just realize how sacred that cup of tea is. Thank you. And bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thank you, Stuart. God
Thank you,
bless.
Stuart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Mhm.